Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Very much appreciated. Just a short video just to continue from yesterday's theme. It's very important to keep our focus now for the next 7 to 10 days on this area here. As we're coming to the end of this symmetrical triangle, we're going to be waiting for a breakout to the up or the downside. And I'll have a look at some of the candles on the 4-hour chart as well as the 1-hour chart to see what kind of clues they're leaving behind, the trail that we can follow to give us some sort of a direction, some sort of an edge, some sort of an advantage over what could possibly happen here. But before I begin, the usual polite reminder, please remember all my videos are for educational purposes. Nothing should be taken as financial advice. Please do your wider research before you make any investment decisions. So with that out of the way, let's have a quick look at the general view here. And that is that we've had this dominant trend from the 69,000 all the way down here, and we're now coiling slowly into this symmetrical triangle. And along this way, we've made these very strong support levels here, as you can see. At the same time, we made these series of lower highs, which are now coiling into this little gap here. And if you know anything about symmetrical triangles, they have the power to shoot up or to the downside. And because this is on the daily time frame, this is a long-term trend in terms of 3 or 4 months now. So we can expect quite an explosive move here. And I'll show you my reasoning why I'm thinking which way this will go. So basically we're still in this range. As you can see, we made this neckline here at around about the 45.7, 45.8 level here. So if you go back to this point here, we can see we're in this range from the 45 down to the $32,000 mark. So it would be quite logical that when we break this neckline here, that we should see a great buying opportunity to the upside, if that is what's going to happen. So what can we expect in this area in the next 7 to 10 days? Which way could it go? I am currently having a close look at the SP 500 index here. And the reason for that is that just in the last few days, we've been making this kind of a bullish move to the upside here. So you can see there's 3 white soldiers, i.e. 3 Marubozu candles, which are giving us an indication of an upside. Now, what I would expect is that with this SP 500 coming to the neckline here, as you can see, I'm not expecting this to break. It's the first attempt at it here. So what I would think is that we're probably going to get rejected here, make a 61.8 Fibonacci retracement down here. And at this point, this is where I would expect Bitcoin to fall down, to have some sort of a pullback here. Now, the question is, what kind of a pullback will we have here? What I would find quite bullish is that if this pullback here, as long as it created a higher low from this point here on the SP 500, and we came back to this level here, I would expect this to break next time, and that would be the start of a big rally towards the upside. This is what I would be expecting. This is a preferred option. Obviously, it can play out whatever it wants to play out, but this is how I'm reading this at the moment. Because if you look at the support levels, we've got supported at the same price 3 times now. So the support is quite well defined. I don't think this is going to come back much lower than that. And with the Fed announcing the interest rate hike, with more on the way, I think that's all now baked into these prices. So I'm just looking for clues as to what can happen to Bitcoin. So this is what I'm expecting with the SP 500. So that pullback that I'm expecting with the SP 500 is what's going to bring the market down. And I'll show you on the 4-hour and the 1-hour charts with the candle formations why that looks like a very high proposition. And those people expecting a fall to the 20,000 or even lower levels at this early part of a bear market. And whilst anything is possible with Bitcoin, I think we'll be disappointed because that kind of a move occurs towards the end of a bear market, i.e. down to the 200 weekly moving average. For me, we're in a slow grind of going sideways and up with some rallies along the way. And this is what we want to take advantage of. And certainly no one knows for sure, but we want to take advantage and be dictated to by the price action as we see it. And this is how I'm seeing it now. As you can see with the 2018 bear market, which started from this blow off top here, we just went sideways for a number of months before, at the end of the bear market, that's when we had the big drop. So I would expect in the next 8 or 9 months for us to be just basically going within a range, and it's our job to take advantage of the rallies in between that are going to come along the way. So my preferred pathway to the next rally would be basically this support line breaking anytime between now and the next 7 days to either back to this support line here, which is around about 38,000, and we'll judge it when it gets down here, whether there's more room for it to go lower. But certainly this would be the first line of support. The next one would be to the bottom of these candles here at around about 37,000. And then to this candle here, 36,000. And finally down to these levels here at around about 35. So these are the 3 levels I'm expecting in the next 7 days for us to find support before we move to the upside. And my preferred choice would be to hit the 35 here, from which we can bounce up and take it all the way back to retest the 46,000 mark here. And that rally from these levels here would give us anywhere around about the 30% mark here. So that would be a really good run up for Bitcoin before I would expect a rejection. However, we should always be ready if we do get to this point here for a surprise move to the upside. But we'll judge that with the candlestick patterns and formations over here nearer the time. Okay, so let's have a look at the 4-hour chart and have an insight into the candlestick patterns that have been developing here. As I mentioned with this doji candle here, this is still in play. It's amazing how these things can actually play out here. So the range of that at 41,717 and the 38,850, as you can see, we're still well within this range here. So this candle, this gravestone doji candle, is still orchestrating all of the price action that's taking place here so far. And because of this candle, I'm expecting at least a test. See, we came up here trying to test the upper limits, didn't get quite that way, but now we seem to be making lower highs and lower lows here, and I would expect at least one more attempt at this 38,850 level, if not to actually break it as a final flush before we have a rally to the upside. What's interesting is some of the candles that are forming over here. We can see clearly with these long wicks at the top that we're getting a rejection of higher prices here. And then we printed this inverted hammer candle here, which again you find towards the top of the range. And again, it's a rejection of higher prices. And then we get a number of confusing candles, which is the hammer candle at the top of a range, and then yet another spinning top candle here, which is an indecision candle. But again, this is a rejection of lower prices here, but there's a series of them, you see. This is here to just confuse everybody. But the general feeling here with these kinds of formations is that the price is coming down rather than going to the upside. And then just in the last 4 hours, we printed this gravestone doji candle here, which again puts more pressure to the downside. So with these series of candles showing more bearish than bullish, we can certainly expect at least a retest of this bottom of this candle at 40,000 very, very shortly in the next few hours, I would say. And if we look inside the 4-hour candles, by looking at the 1-hour chart here, we can see that we've now had a development of 2 evening star formations, which gives it that bit more likelihood that we're going to be going and testing lower levels rather than the higher levels. So again, it gives us an edge, an insight into the possible and the probable movement of the direction of the price. So as you can see here, we've got an evening star here, which is basically a big Marubozu candle here, followed by a small body candle, then followed by a red candle here. So once this closes here, you know that this is going to be a fall in the price on the whole, with a higher degree of probability. Always remember, no guarantees and no certainties. We just get an insight, an edge on what the market is trying to do. And then just recently, in the last few hours, we've got another one here. So we've got another big green candle, small bodied candle, red candle following that. So this is now on its way down, hopefully to test this 40,000 and perhaps go to even lower levels. So really that's it. We really need to focus on this symmetrical triangle and the conclusion of this within the next few days. So we'll keep on looking at the candlestick patterns and the formations to give us an insight into what is happening here. So like I say, I'm expecting some sort of a support at around about this blue line here, which is about 38. And if we break that down to 37 or even 32, 33 down here as a final flush before we move to the upside here towards the 45, 46,000. And as I say, I'm not expecting a big move down to the 20,000 yet. That may come towards the end of the year when everybody's got fed up with sideways movements. Okay, so we'll leave it there. I hope you found some value in that, and if you did, then please do remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Please leave any comments, questions, or suggestions in the comments below. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.